been following the series since literally since day one, when at the New York Comic Con. So
yeah.
it's great to see it, see it going strong, and then see it, end in such a powerful ending this year, and looking forward to seeing it come together, seeing it close out.
But, yeah, no, it's been fun. I mean, it's been a long time, really. Since Potter, it's been the longest thing I've kind of been involved with in it. And yeah, I mean, I've gone through a lot of things as a person as well. I kind of became a dad. Yeah, so it's been a real journey, and yeah, no, it's fun to kind of also shoot in the fourth season, kind of feel that it's coming to a conclusion.
I was going to say, where did it all begin for you, as an actor? Were you raised to, did you know early on that you were going to get into acting, and then Potter came along, or did you get into acting because of Potter?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was always, I loved drama at school. I was part of a drama club, an after-school drama club, and always found it really. I was quite a shy child, and kind of just being on stage, kind of stepping into a different person, it gave me a lot of confidence. I could, being someone else was really helpful for me as a kid. So it was always an interest there, but it was really, it was the books. I was a huge fan of the books. There was like a campaign in the UK for like fans of the books to audition for the movie that was coming out. And like you're encouraged to like send in video tapes of you reading kind of inserts of the book. So yeah, I did that. I just sent in a video. It's probably one of the first self-tapes. I don't know if people were self-taping back then, but I believe they were. But yeah, it was, that was kind of my kind of intro into the industry. It was my first job.
How were you alerted to you becoming, getting the role of Ron Weasley?
Yeah, so it was a character that I'd always kind of had an affiliation with, being a fan of the book. I actually won a lookalike competition before I got the part. In the Sunday Times, they wanted people to send in photos of if you looked like one of the characters. I got in the paper for that, so it was a big part of my childhood, I guess you could say. So yeah, I mean, I auditioned for him. It was a big process. It was about kind of 5 or 6.
And that moment must have been incredible when you got the call.
Yeah. It was insane. I was with Emma. We came in thinking it was another camera test, and yeah, they just told us in the office that we were going to be Ron and Hermione, and then immediately we were on this kind of whirlwind journey that just snowballed into something kind of uncomprehendable, really. So it was a real life-changing moment.
How much of that was nerves, and how much of it was excitement? Or were you able to enjoy any of it, or was it just like a, kind of a blur because of the buzz of it all?
No, I think when you're that age as well. I mean, I was 11. You have this. You're just fearless, I think. I mean, as I say, I was still quite shy, but it was such a high, especially to be introduced to this world that I'd kind of dreamed about reading the books, and suddenly to see it kind of coming to life. It was just an absolute dream. So yeah, I really loved it. I mean, as I got older, as kind of puberty set in, my anxiety levels increased, and it became more of a kind of, you were aware of the responsibility you had, because these characters are loved by so many kind of fans, and you want to get them right for people. So there was definitely an awareness of that.
Yeah, especially at that time when you're on the subway or anywhere, and a bus, anywhere in public, and every time a book came out, everyone was carrying.
Yeah.
Back when people had books, it was insane.
And like different generations, it kind of spanned kind of children and adults. So it was something quite a unique phenomenon, I think.
That had to be a little bit of stress, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
You need to live up to the page.
Yeah. I mean, it's a difficult one, but I mean, they were always we always thought of them as kind of something kind of separate to the books in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But still, yeah, these you want to get it right for sure.
Yeah. Well, the same spirit. You have to capture the spirit. That's what it's
Absolutely.
about.
Yeah.
So when you leave a big franchise like Harry Potter, how do you choose what project you take on next? I know you did Snatch, you did that series
Yeah.
for several years, but do you say, hey, I want to reinvent myself, or is it just looking at the offers you have, or how does that work?
Yeah, kind of a mix of both. I mean, I came out of the last Harry Potter movie, and it was a very weird time. It was this huge kind of part of my life. It was more than just 8 movies. It was like my childhood was kind of entangled in this thing that had just suddenly stopped. So it was, but also, I mean, it was definitely the right time to finish. I was really more than ready to leave. And I mean, because as fun as it was you definitely, towards the end, it was, you felt there was a sacrifice that had been made somewhere on the lines. I'd lost out something. As much as I'm hugely grateful to be a part of it, it's a weird way to grow up, I think. So I was desperate just to kind of catch up on things, and I think that I wasn't massively ambitious in terms of a career. Really, it was always really about. I couldn't really see myself anything other than it was always about Ron, about that character. It would become the kind of same person. So it was very hard for me to imagine what I would even kind of do outside of that. So it was, I think I needed like a bit of a kind of break, and just to see if I did actually want to do it again. And it was, I mean, I was sent things, and I would kind of do the odd thing that I kind of responded to that I thought would be fun, to varying success. But it was, I think I was just trying to kind of find my way, and I was always learning as well, because Potter was such a unique machine. Whenever I was on kind of something else, it just felt like a completely different art form, really, and it was almost like starting again. So it's definitely, and I'm still kind of learning from everything I do. I think everything's kind of different, and TV is a new one that I've found that I really enjoy. That kind of, and it's similar to Potter in the way that you kind of carve out a character like through a long period of time. So it's something I kind of like that. The time you don't get with film necessarily.
Yeah, you get to flesh him out and watch it. Well, that's, we'll get into it in a minute, but that you watch Julian change from season 1 to season 3, and there's quite a path, and a lot of things that you don't expect, and some just things you really don't expect that come and surprise you. How did you get involved with the series? Were you approached for it, or was it?
No, I taped for. I was sent this really weird scene. I don't think was actually in the final show, but it was these 2 guys essentially arguing about Dole, with no other context. With everything kind of night, everything's kind of shrouded in kind of mystery. So I knew it immediately kind of piqued my interest, just that he was kind of attached to it, and I sent him the tape, not really thinking that I would be the right kind of fit for something like this. But and then I got the kind of scripts, and I just immediately just loved it. It was just, I'd never read anything like it. It was such a kind of tragic story that had so many kind of, the dark humor was really kind of laced through it. It was just such an interesting world. I think to be in kind of one location, that kind of claustrophobic kind of nature of the show is something that I think is really interesting. And it was, it's been really fun.
It started as the doll series. I wouldn't call it, the baby doll, but it's proven to be so much more. And did you know going in, like, anything that, like, beyond the first few episodes or the first season? Did you kind of know the arc of the story at all? What were you given privy to?
No, nothing really. I mean, even kind of season by season, we kind of drip fed the scripts in a way. I mean, we get like them in kind of blocks, and we don't usually get the last one until kind of the last few weeks of shooting. So yeah, it's always kind of mysterious, which I kind of like. At the beginning, it was, you know, you wanted to know as much as you could. It was the information was what you was useful, but now it's less of a thing now. It's kind of it's more interesting really to discover everything kind of almost with the characters. So it's becomes something you can almost use in a way. But yeah, I know. I mean, I never could have predicted how it was going. You always think surely this is gonna kind of how can we go beyond this? It's kind of gone kind of too far with this now. But yeah, there's always a way that kind of comes back, and it's and right now, even today, I don't know how season 4 is going to end.
Oh, really?
No idea.
Yeah, it's a leap of faith. You know, like this thing going into the series, you got your scene, you're interested, you got a little taste of it, but then you just have to trust, and luckily you have Knight on board to kind of steering the ship, which of course makes it much easier to relax and enjoy the ride, I'm sure.
For sure, yeah. I mean, he is a master of this genre. He really knows how to kind of conduct every kind of feeling of fear and kind of the unknown, and he's really he's amazing at that. And yeah, safe hand. He's kind of always a really kind of, you feel an enormous amount of safety with him kind of behind the scenes. And yeah, I mean, and his daughter as well, Shana, she's kind of become a huge part of the show. It's really kind of Shyamalan kind of family affair now, and it's great. She's really brilliant, and yeah, I've really enjoyed kind of watching it kind of grow.
The perfect series to have a family work together.
Right. Yeah.
Series, it's all about 4 people, pretty much in one house the whole time.
Yeah.
What's your take on Julian and how he's changed over the last 3 seasons? Is there anything that really surprised you?
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, there's always kind of surprises. I think Julian is quite a volatile character. You never really know kind of what he's thinking, really, on where he's going to go, and do you even really trust him? I still don't really know where I am on that. But, for sure, I think that the love, the kind of this strange relationship he's kind of found with Leanne, I never saw that coming, and that's become a really kind of interesting part for me to kind of understand, and to see how that kind of develops and how that affects him. Because I think, I mean, definitely from season 1, he's this kind of very cynical, just bubbling over with kind of sarcasm and darkness, and she has this kind of power over him that no one else really has. Yeah, I mean, even in season 3, this season, he's a very different guy. I mean, take away the booze and the drugs, I personally found it really difficult to kind of tune into him again, because that had become such a huge part of him for me. That's such a crutch, a kind of defense mechanism. And also, I love holding wine. It's such a good prop. Not have that.
Well, you could sense it in your performance. Like there's this like void in him right now.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, and it's like it comes out, and you watch it, and you're like, yeah, it's like what, like early in the, because I don't think you announce his sobriety until maybe into the early in the 3rd season. But when you do, you're like, oh, that's it. That's why he's off.
Yeah, there's just something different about him, and it was interesting to see, and then to see him kind of calibrate the situation, and because I mean, there's still like a huge mystery at the heart of the story that no other character really is kind of forwarding, because I mean, Leanne is this, you know, she's the antagonist, she's potentially behind everything. Lauren is Dorothy is not remembering. Toby's on this whole like divine kind of spiritual kind of religious kind of thing. So Julian is the only one who's this kind of devout atheist who kind of denies all of these kind of supernatural things, and is actually trying to find out what the hell happened. Where did this baby come from? So yeah, it's been fun to kind of see him be a bit of a sleuth as well, and try and kind of work out what actually happened here.
Yeah, the way they close out the last season, I'm like, I want to know where that mystery goes. I want it, it was originally going to be 60 episodes and it became 40. And I was like, you know what? I'm happy it's 40 because I need answers. So
they're coming for sure. That's the fun thing about this season. It's like things are happening now that are kind of irreversible. It's kind of, this is it. There's no way of kind of getting out of it and explaining it. So it's been really hugely rewarding and fun to kind of see where it's all going finally.
Yeah, as you mentioned, you're a father now, and there's big changes in your life, but also changes your perspective, I'm sure, on the series. When when it's someone else's kid, it doesn't matter, but when you can kind of connect to that emotionally, does that change your performance?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, it definitely added a whole new dimension for me. I think kind of understanding what was at stake, it's just an unimaginable kind of loss. It's to lose a child. I mean, I can't even comprehend it really. So yeah, I think that was really useful to have that kind of like, and also because I mean, Julian, he has a very kind of tricky relationship to the tragedy because I mean, he was the one he found the body, and he kind of feels responsible. He could have been there, he could have stopped it. So he carries a lot of guilt as well. So I think all of that kind of really helps to kind of play that. And but it is strange because I mean, also like Wednesday is the same age now. They're in sync, their ages, so they're hitting the same milestones. So it's quite creepy.
That scene when they have a flashback showing you discovering, and that moment, that is one of the heaviest and the toughest scenes in the whole series, which everything else often has like some mystery or some like something to it, other elements to it. That one doesn't, and it like, oh my gosh, that hits hard. Especially I'm a father as well, and like it gives me not the good chills.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, you sometimes you do forget, even when we're kind of on that is that actually that happened in this show. So that is kind of at the heart. It's just awful thing that and they're all kind of not grieving, and when they should be grieving. So it's a really interesting dynamic. This family, this just very dysfunctional kind of family in a way, who are just not coping, and it's a lot of fun.
In addition to the the dramatic, you also get to show off some comedic chops. Quite impressively. Some of the biggest laughs that come from Julian. Is it something that you are naturally have that good comedic timing, or something you're drawn to, or something you learned kind of for the along the way during your journey as an actor?
Sure, yeah, no, it's something I've always enjoyed. I don't know. I mean, I do find it quite difficult. It's always quite hard to time, and it's all about kind of in this show as well. It's such a strange pitch. The whole show. It's so the weirdest things as well can seem funny as well. That not necessarily are on paper. It's not until you kind of get in the room you realize this is just mental. So it's a lot of fun, kind of finding those moments as well in the kind of more unexpected. But I think it's a really human thing as well to find comedy in these kind of dark moments. It's and also it's a really kind of, it's a heavy place to be. It's not. I always say that I love coming off set. It's just you just have this real sense of relief whenever you leave, because it really carries all this kind of dark energy. So to have those moments, I think, are really important. And we've also got some great kind of characters that kind of come into the house now, and who add a lot of humor, and it's fun to kind of see a bit of outside of the house, and kind of these other characters that kind of invade the space of this family. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a part of the show that I really, really enjoy.
Yeah, it's funny when you find yourself laughing in the middle. If you take a step back and remember what the premise is of this show. You're like, there should be no laughs. This is like a incredibly sad series with like,
Sure.
and disturbing that these people are living in this oblivious world where, and with a stranger and you know, and you're got substance abuse and all this, and then you find yourself laughing. It's like, and there's a dead lady within the walls. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's true. There shouldn't be any kind of laughing, but I think you need it. You need it more so because of that.
What's your atmosphere like on set?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends what kind of we're doing, but I mean, I think it's always. I mean, Knight is such a fun guy as well. When he's on set, he always brings this kind of quite light-hearted energy, and there's always kind of jokes. And yeah, I mean, we all try and, I think, keep the atmosphere light, but sometimes, I mean, it's hard to. But yeah, it's a very strange. I mean, it's a very strange place to be. So really, it's an amazing set. It's this kind of fully immersive house. So you do really, you forget you're on a set. Really, you do feel like kind of you're really there, and it's that kind of answer. And I think because a lot of our scenes are really kind of quite long takes, you kind of you really, I mean, it's almost like theatre. You kind of really bury yourself deep into it, and it sometimes can be hard to kind of shake it as well after you finished. It kind of stays with you for a long time. It's quite a unique experience.
But you also have this core 4 actors, so it's like you and 3 others, and it's like every day to go in and see the same people and work with the same people. I know this season, third season, added the second season added more, and the third season even increased that. But still, at the core, it's the 4 of you. So it's like you can't. Doesn't seem like you'd be able to step away from that world. It's like, here I go again, and
it's absolutely it is. I mean, it is. Yeah, as you say, it is really just kind of us 4. And we're really close. We have a very kind of tight bond, and it's when we're kind of all together in a scene, if it's like a dinner table scene or something, there's this kind of unspoken kind of synchronicity. We all kind of find the rhythm, and it's really interesting, because we know each other so well. There's this kind of, it's kind of all unspoken. It's really interesting.
That shows up. That shows up on screen. You see that you forget at times that they're not related. That this isn't a family.
Right. Yeah.
Do you actually watch the series? Do you sit there and enjoy it?
I haven't yet. I've seen the first few episodes, season 1. I find it very difficult to kind of watch it, especially when I'm still kind of in it. I need a bit more time. I will watch them definitely, but I mean, it's the same with Potter. I still haven't watched them really. I've seen the first one,
really?
But yeah. So I need like a good amount of time to get a bit of distance, and then I can kind of watch it with new eyes, and then I can enjoy it, I think.
Well, if you're nervous to watch those, just the word on the street is they're good. So
good to know. Thank you.
What has the fans' response been to Servant? Get a lot of
great. I mean, a lot of people kind of confused, want to know an inside. They want me to kind of give them an idea of where it's going. And it's funny actually kind of being in Philly as well, because obviously we're out here now shooting the 4th one. There's a real kind of local kind of buzz, really. People really kind of watch it here and are really engaging with it. And it's great that people are. That's the most fun thing about a show like this. It kind of gets people talking, and people theorize. Like the Reddit kind of theories are brilliant. And it's people just don't really know what to make of it, which is, I think, really fun. So yeah, we'll see where it ends up, but who knows?
Would you ever go back to Hogwarts? Would you ever do another film or a series or anything like that, or stage? Since
I don't have really a good reason not to. Really, it was a really positive experience for me. I don't have any kind of desire to like shut it from my life. It was, I mean, I would, I guess I would, if it was the right. I mean, if if everyone else was kind of coming back and it was the right kind of circumstances, yeah, for sure.
No big recasts, no.
I know that does scare me more. I think seeing someone else, I'm quite protective of it. And even when I saw the play, I mean, the play is amazing, Cursed Child. But yeah, it leaves kind of a weird kind of feeling. I would never see this a very different character. It's him, kind of a few years down the line. So yeah, I mean, it's great that it's still living on and people it's still very much in people's kind of consciousness. So it'd be interesting to return to it. I don't know. I can't really foresee it, but you never know.
I never thought of that how protective you would be, seeing somebody else step in, even if it's even if you're not, that's not the thing that you would want to be doing. You didn't want to do Broadway at the time. It's still watching somebody else out there and come.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I don't know if it's because always became the same person in a way. I kind of put a lot of myself into him as well, I think, and so that's kind of tethered me to him for a long time. So, but I mean, things get remade. I'll get over it. We'll see. It would be very surreal for sure.
I don't know. I don't know if my kids would be happy with that. Like, I don't know if I'd be happy with that. I'm like, just let it be. It's kind of perfection. So, do you have a moment or a memory that you could share about being on the set of Harry Potter or your time there?
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, so many. It was just such a long time. It's not really. I mean, I guess. Last year we did the reunion that flooded back a lot of memories. Suddenly we were going. I mean, I don't really talk about it much. I mean, I think about it quite often. Weirdly, but yeah, I mean, I haven't seen everyone in so long, so that was really good to kind of see everyone again and kind of talk about it, I guess, because it really did end so abruptly, and then I obviously I've seen them like Dan and Emma and everyone kind of occasionally throughout the years, but never quite like that to like properly sit down and talk. So I mean, it was just such a strange time, really. But it's only now that we have this kind of perspective, kind of being out of it for 10 years, you can kind of really appreciate what it really was. But yeah, I mean, so many memories. I can't really hone in on a specific one right now, but I guess like just seeing the scale of everything, like the train was like a whole Hogwarts Express train that was just mad. They brought into King's Cross. So yeah, there was definitely moments like that where you thought, "Wow, this is incredible."
Well, when they walk into the ballrooms or into the even like what is it it's a lunchroom or whatever that big
Great Hall, yeah.
Yes, the Great Hall. That's it. I'm like, man, that's impressive. I wonder what it's like being a kid and saying, no more playing pretend. Go out and be part of this wizarding world. It's got to be insane.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, for a fan, it was just literally like stepping into a book, and it was. I'd spent years kind of escaping into these worlds. I mean, obviously, that's the amazing thing with Potter. I think as much as they're an escape, there's a kind of reality to them as well. You can kind of relate to the kind of school aspect of everything. So there was such an easy thing to kind of slip into, and then. Yeah, I mean, to suddenly kind of be there was just, and it to be so perfectly, to come out exactly how you imagined it. It was just amazing. And you get a taste of that when you go to the Florida, the theme park. It's still there. So whatever you want to fix, that's the place to go. It's special.
When you were reading the books, did you imagine yourself as Ron?
Yeah.
Did you?
I was, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
It was kind of a weird kind of hybrid between me and like some other ginger guy, a bit taller, I think I was in the book than I am in real life. But yeah, and Dad and Emma. Weirdly, if I think about them now, the books, I still have my original other characters, my imagination just about. It's a weird thing, but yeah, it's fun.
No, I know that as well. I've read books as a kid, and if you bring up the characters, the first thing I imagine is my vision, the one I
Yeah,
created,
yeah,
not the
yeah.
one that's on screen or on the cover of the book or anything. But
For sure,
it's,
yeah. I think that I haven't watched them probably has kind of helped with that. But yeah, it's crazy that yeah.
Do you look forward to sharing them one day with your child?
Yeah, absolutely.
Children?
I've already showed her some clips, which is a lot
Oh,
of
really?
fun. Yeah, yeah. She's nearly there, I think. She can kind of she can enjoy it for like the novelty of it's kind of like, but I don't know if she really has a context. She probably thinks that everyone is on TV with like phones and that. She sees herself on TV quite often. So it's a weird concept. It'd be interesting to see what she makes of it. But yeah, I mean that's the fun of it. I think when she's ready, I'm definitely gonna enjoy showing her them.
That's a great, unique experience that not everybody has. Here's my
For sure.
selection. Here's my catalog of films to watch. And then when you're a little older, Snatch and Servant.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. That'll be fun.
Does she recognize you, the younger you?
Yeah, she
Oh,
does. It's really weird. She really. I mean, she weirdly look. I can see her in that kind of younger me. It's really well. Obviously, she's my child. That's why it's surprising. But she does. Yeah, she can see that it's me, and that there was even when she's like in toy stores, she sees like the Lego and the toys. There's a tiny me on the box. She kind of picks me out. So it's she does kind of almost get it. Just it's fun.
that's fantastic. So you have a couple projects coming up: the Cabinet of Curiosities and Knock at the Cabin.
Yes.
So is there anything you can tell me about those? I know one's kind of secretive, one's starting to get some details out there, but
okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what I can say really, but yeah, I mean they were really interesting projects, both of them. Just finished Knock at the Cabin, which I've loved. I love working with Knight. He's just one of my favorite people, and he's, as I say, the kind of, I've been a huge fan of his movies, as since Sixth Sense, and I think he's just, as I said before, he's just such a master of this genre, and this is a really kind of different amalgamation of that. I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, I don't know how much I can say.
yeah, that's all right.
But it's going to be really fun. It's I guess that's coming out next year. That's been a lot of fun. And the other one is Guillermo del Toro, kind of anthology, all his kind of favorite stories. And I had a lot of fun. It's just this wild episode, which I'm excited to see kind of how it comes out. It's again, it's this kind of similar kind of world. And I had a lot of fun. He's again, Guillermo is just one of. I'm so grateful to work with these people because he's just incredible to watch him. He's just, I mean, similar to Knight, he's a genius with these kind of things. So it's it's been great. I feel very, very lucky to work with him.
And no offense, but you've been kind of spoiled with the directors and the actors that you've worked with. Like if you just put them on a list, it's like it's a who's who. It's got to be a little surreal, especially as you're older now and you're like, wait a second, their filmography before Harry Potter is
for sure,
extensive and impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, now I have a whole new kind of appreciation for that. I mean, even with going to the cast as well. Just as an 11-year-old, you don't know kind of who Gary Oldman is or Alan Rickman or Maggie Smith. You just don't really have much of they're just old people. But now it's like, wow, that was very cool.
You were hanging out with Dracula and I don't know what his character was, but the investigator or the cop from The Professional, and like just hanging out with them and just like but as a kid, I don't know, it's got to be pretty incredible. So are there any projects that you'd like to look at next, like that you want to tackle?
I don't know, to be honest. I really enjoy TV, as I said. Like that kind of time that you get with that. And yeah, I mean, maybe stick with this kind of the horror genre, something I enjoy. Yeah, it seems to be something that I've kind of gravitated to for a long time now. So yeah, maybe a bit more. I don't know anything really. I'm open to lots of new things. As I say, I'm still discovering life after kind of a franchise like Potter, I guess. Even though it's been 10 years, I'm still kind of working it out. But no, I'm enjoying it. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's kind of finding a groove, but you can always branch off into new things. Like, would you ever do a straight up comedy? Is that something you'd be interested in?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I would. I mean, there's nothing I kind of wouldn't do, I guess. Yeah. But I mean, I love being a dad. That's kind of my big thing at the moment. I want to kind of spend more time with that.
Well, that's the best role you can have.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
So let me just wrap up with a really quick and easy one, which some people think is the toughest, but I like to ask. 3 words to describe Rupert.
Ooh. I don't know. I think I am eccentric. Lots of people say that about me. I'm kind of starting to understand why. I'm I guess I'm quiet. I'm kind of quite introverted in a lot of situations. I think I'm fun. So,
I'd like to hear more, but
I'm someone who's kind of like, I like taking risks and saying yes to things. That's kind of my sometimes it kind of gets you in trouble, but I kind of enjoy that.
Could you give me one of those things? Like something that you don't have to tell me the trouble if it's
I don't know. I mean, it probably applies more to life pre being a dad. Where I don't know, just kind of having that freedom. I think it's probably something I crave, like being part of something like a movie franchise like Potter. We were kind of in this kind of bubble, so kind of being outside of that, I think I had this real kind of wave of like what freedom is, and like I could have my hair in any way. I had the same hairstyle all my life, so I could finally do stuff with in the end I actually didn't do anything with my hair. I kept it the same way. But yeah, and my tonsils taken out. That was one of the first things I did when I finished. That felt like a big one. But yeah, no, I think just kind of sense of kind of freedom is it's something that I enjoy.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me. Congrats on the series so far. I'm looking forward to the 4th and last chapter of it. But best of luck going forward.
Great. Thank you very much. Good to speak to you again.